Hey, everybody, and welcome to AJS News. Buckle up. We got a lot to cover.
Oh, yeah. But first, a word from our sponsors. That's right, guys. We are back with Displate. We're running we're going to have two new community posters that will be debuting towards the end of the week. But I did want to show you some of the new ones that they got over here. These cyberpunk ones are freaking awesome. I don't know if I can hold this one up as well, or if you guys can see that while they're in their protective cases. It's freaking awesome. So we're going to have some AJSA community designs again. And I wanted to give you a heads up because on Thursday and Friday, we're going to have a promotional code. So if you like these cyberpunk ones, put them in your cart and then wait for that promotional code on, I'm hoping, Thursday and Friday for some % off, a real deep % off, okay? Like huge. We'll make a separate announcement on that one. But, yeah, if you like Cyberpunk, go check out the artworks now. There's a Cyberpunk page, and then we'll be adding 2 new AJSA posters. Thank you guys so much for supporting our show. This is how we keep going with these different promotional deals and doing, like, little posters and shirts. And thank you so much. So, yeah. Appreciate it, and let's get to the news.
Well, first thing, we actually got some good news for once, and it's going. Don't get used to it because there's not going to be very much good news. But Death Stranding is no longer a PlayStation exclusive, and so we got an announcement that sometime, we don't know when, but it's going to come to PC. So for those members of the PC Master Race that really want to experience that, on their home computer, we're gonna get it. And so hopefully it doesn't take too long. It's been.
I got a PS4, so
yeah.
I was planning on playing it there anyway, and I'm sure the PS4 version ain't coming out for a while. Just like, say, Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out on PC a while later. Death Stranding will come out, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how successful it is.
But what we don't know yet is which marketplaces will have access to it. So that's something that other people have been asking. It's like, okay, great, it's coming to PC. Where can I buy it? And they haven't annoued if it's going to be in Steam or Epic, Good Old Games, any of those ones. So yeah, and so we did get confirmation from Sony that this is true. It is happening. So if this is something that you're excited about, I would just keep checking in on their website. All right. Let's get a little bit of an update. I know we've talked quite a bit about Bethesda and Fallout First, and
rightfully so.
And yes,
because this is quite possibly one of the biggest fuck ups of all time. And honestly, one of the biggest crumblings of a company from hero to zero in a while. So
absolutely.
Any updates you got, I want them.
Okay, so they were trying to do a little bit of damage control. They went out and said, look, I know that the stash looks like it's eating your stuff, but it's really not. It's just a UI bug. If you go somewhere else,
it's player UI. Don't worry about it.
It's still there. We'll find your stuff.
Go look for your stuff.
And then the players said, no. Here are the logs. Here are the videos. And then they told Polygon, we're sorry. You're right.
Sorry.
It is gone. We have no idea where it went. So the stash is indeed eating stuff, and they don't have a plan.
That is horrible. I was thinking it's like, all right, maybe this is a little bright side on their part. It's like, no, we can replace it. No, it's gone, guys. We're sorry.
Yeah, according to them, we have since found that a small number of players have, in fact, experienced the loss of scrap items after placing them in the scrap box. Resolving this issue is currently our top priority. We are also exploring ways to restore the missing items. So based on some of the other things that they said, they have no idea how to bring this stuff back. So it's just poof, it's gone.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult.
The good news for these players is you have 1,650 atoms that you can spend in some store, and you can just buy that shit.
3/4 blue? They're not even, as a sorry, they might give you blue.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
Well,
maybe.
Some of it.
They're not going to give you anything.
What?
No.
You want blue? No. Blue. No.
You can get some
Start
lawn
all
gnomes
over again.
and a fruit helmet.
What is that, fucking blue? That's what we need to do. We need to do a shirt that's like, what is that, fucking blue? Get a shirt going. Shirt design.
Yeah.
Submit shirt designs to me on Twitter for fucking blue.
Well, that's all we've got for Fallout.
Okay.
For now. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much other stuff, but I'm actually expecting to hear something directly from Bethesda this
we want
week.
an official response. We want something big. We want at least an acknowledgement of their colossal disaster of a release. Not only was it a bad idea, but it was a colossal disaster release, just like Fallout 76, the main game. Fallout First, fuck you first, is a colossal disaster.
Do you think
well.
that response will include the word sorry or apologize?
It better.
That's not going
but
to.
probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I don't think so either. Speaking of public announcements, Ubisoft.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
That's what it'll include. You deserve it.
This is on you. Ubisoft had actually a public announcement. So Ubisoft, their company is on fire. Like things, and I don't mean that in a good way. Things are bad, right? The Division 2 was okay, but people didn't really buy into it all that much. It was a failure according to them. Breakpoint came out.
We know how that went.
People didn't quite like that. And then they've got a bunch of delays. They announced that Rainbow Six, Quarantine, Watch Dogs Legions, and Gods and Monsters are all delayed until next year. So they had 2 releases that weren't very good, and the rest of the releases were delayed. Now, financially, that's really, really hurt Ubisoft. Originally, at the beginning of the year, they were planning on making around $530 million US profit for the year. Their current estimates are 22 to 52 million. So that is a massive drop in expected revenue.
Whoa, that might be the
they're in panic mode right now.
They're absolutely.
Take it.
Yeah.
Whoa. Part of this, as these release, because you bundled all those stories together, as I was following these news stories, it's just getting worse and worse for them. Initially, it was like, the Division 2 wasn't as successful as we wanted. It's considered a failure. And I was like, a failure by what standard? You know, it's like your Ubisoft standard for the Division 2 sales were way too high, clearly. I guess they thought they were going to make double the Division 1 sales. Well, no, not when the game is a slightly improved version of the Division 1 without anything to really grab people's attention and bring them in. So that was their error. And then their next error was Breakpoint, which came out and, was universally, hated. It had got a very bad reputation, and with the microtransactions that they were squeezing out of everybody, time savers, right? Yes, I am an idiot. And unfortunately, a bastardization of the Ghost Recon license, basically just turning it more and more into homogenizing it into Division. And Assassin's Creed
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
A buggy nightmare. It was a terrible buggy nightmare.
Now, of course, I have seen people attack me on Twitter because they liked Breakpoint. I'm like, okay, so some people still like this, but there's always going to be that for every single game. But to those people, it was a commercial failure, and I was hearing numbers of it made 10% of what they wanted it to make, or was it failed by 90% or some crazy number like that. It may not actually be that specific number, but guaranteed it did even worse than Division 2 and what they expected for Breakpoint versus Division 2. So, you had a bit of a drop-off and then a huge drop-off. And what that did is it then created the panic at Ubisoft, and they said, okay, we're going to delay all these titles in order to make sure that they don't have bugs in them, in order to ensure their quality, and they used all the right words for
pulling out some of the microtransactions.
But that's what I'm wondering, Joe. I'm wondering.
What it's like, oh no, this is bad.
That time?
Let's try to fix this, guys.
Right, if they centered those games around microtransactions like that Gods and Monsters game, I felt like, man, it's basically just a more mythology version of Assassin's Creed, where they get to go crazy with the fantasy elements, and the way they monetized the previous Assassin's Creed, Origins and Odyssey.
I hate it.
It
was terrible. It was the first time.
Is this going to repeat itself with Gods?
For sure.
Monster?
And so we actually got a response from the CEO of Ubisoft, because he was speaking directly to investors, because he was letting them know, it's like, look, things are going to look bad, but next year looks good because we'll have other games. We're going to polish these things. He's doing damage control.
Instead of short-term game, we're going to concentrate on long-term financial stability with strong franchises, is what he's saying. And I'm hoping that translates into we're going to start removing some of these microtransactions and make and bake our games in the oven longer.
This is why I don't think that's the case, because he said directly, he says that our games do not have any pay-to-win mechanics. And so he, in response, because actually an investor actually asked him, said, do you think that the success or lack of success for these games is in relation to the monetization? And he says, no, we don't put pay-to-win stuff in our games. Well,
right, but he's good. But he only says that because he has to say that. He has to say that to his investors, and they're like, "It's not pay to win; it's time saver."
Well, exactly. But so if they don't consider those things pay to win, I think they're going to continue to put them in these games. So I don't think that they're going anywhere.
No, I think you're looking at it from one angle where he's talking to different audiences, and obviously when he's talking to his investors, he's going to be like, "No, we don't have any of that bad shit that y'all been hearing bad things about." So I'm not willing to read into that quote as much as you are. I'm hoping it's a positive reading into the quote. You're not hoping, but you're thinking that it's a negative.
They didn't consider what they did to Assassin's Creed pay to win. They don't consider putting in a roadblock and then set like an XP roadblock and then selling you XP boosts.
Yeah, but I do notice that they understand that these microtransactions are hurting their game
for sure. And so he
in
said,
the language there he says it.
Yeah, and so they did not realize. So they had microtransactions in Wildlands, which came out last year, and they offered just a small amount. And so they said, well, players seem to react positively to those microtransactions, so we just wanted to give them more options. Well, the problem is they took something that was small and they blew it up into something huge, and it made it look like it was a pay-to-win game.
Yeah, so you keep going with the quote, and according to CEO Yevis Guillermo, none of that revenue included pay-to-win microtransactions. On today's call with investors, he was asked if he was concerned that gamers are beginning to rebel against more aggressive monetization in games. Whoever brought that up, thank you for bringing that up on the call, and continue that stuff, because guess what? Yes, it is. Gamers are rebelling against this shit, whether he then responds, oh, no, they're not. The answer is yes. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I think that the investor knows exactly what they're talking about, and his response to that is, oh, no, we don't have pay-to-win mechanics. Things are fine. And so that's when I think that he's kind of saying that what they're doing is fine, like his shit doesn't stink, and they're not rebelling against our type of microtransactions. It's those other ones, those loot boxes that people don't like. One of the things that he kept mentioning over and over that this really shows that he doesn't understand, and it actually worries me from their design standpoint, is he said that that Breakpoint wasn't successful because it came too close to Wildlands. And if Red Dead Redemption came out every 6 months and there was a new one, I would buy it every single time if it was that quality. It has nothing to do with the
right. No, he misunderstood the release window versus quality of the game.
It's not that it came out too quickly. It's just that it was bad.
Yeah.
And it looked even more bad because it was, and even Wildlands was okay. I didn't love Wildlands. This
guy's just being naive.
Yeah, right? But it worries me about their design philosophy where they're like, we just need to space out the shit so you don't realize it's shit.
It's true. He doesn't understand the saying that is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint doesn't include any pay-to-win elements, he said. These items were designed as optional way for players arriving later in the game to catch up to those who have been playing for longer and enjoying our co-op and challenging endgame experiences. Then Ubisoft said these time savers have since been removed from our store for now. Well, then why do you remove it? They're not the problem. That said, the game still sells weapons,
we thought it was a great idea.
Attachments, and vehicles which can be used both in PvE and in PvP. And in fact, in every item you can get in the game can also be bought with real money. Every item that you can get in the game can be bought with real money. Okay, and that as a shortcut to getting it and stuff. And so, he asked if it was the critical backlash against Breakpoint was related to the existence of microtransactions. He said the decision was made because of the success of Wildlands. Okay, basically everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
Ubisoft thought it was one way. Oh, players are asking for this, and I don't even know if they thought that, but they were earning revenue, and the revenue was increasing. And they didn't realize you pushed that button too far.
Yep.
You pushed gamers too far. EA experienced it. Ubisoft, EA experienced. I'm surprised you didn't learn from EA's mistake in Star Wars, Battlefront 2. You didn't learn from that at all. Now, Bethesda's a different case, Joe, because, apparently these Yes, I am an idiot.
Yeah.
I will take Fallout first.
Season
Pass. I don't understand.
Whoa.
But they're going to push it too far. Well, they've already pushed it too far in the greater mind of gamers, and I guarantee that's going to affect their sales.
We haven't heard of Last of Them.
On the next thing that they launch.
We'll have to see how they do. Like, they're in trouble. It's the end of the year.
I want Ubisoft to succeed because they are so fucking nice to us in terms of, YouTubers and getting review copies and that kind of stuff. It's great.
I got to sign for it.
Oh, okay.
It might be there.
Yeah, it is. Joe's getting a graphics card, so he's got to sign for it.
Makes sense.
I don't know how to transition, so I might leave all this in there.
Hey!
Let me see. Let me see. It says it's glass. Glass.
Yeah.
Okay, just leave it all in here, Joe.
Everything's staying in.
No.
No transition.
How the hell are you gonna do it? You're not gonna be able to do it. No, you can't.
We want them to succeed, but they've got a lot to do. And they have to make sure the investors don't just run away. Their stock dropped 20% in one day. Most of that has bounced back though, so people realize that there is a strength within Ubisoft. I think they went down to sub $40. Now they're up to almost 50 again, which is still just $10 shy where they were. But if they have a really strong next year, I can see that continuing to go up. So I wish them the best, but they got to fix it.
Yeah. Delay your games, make them better.
Yeah.
Cook them in the oven longer.
Microtransactions.
And easy with the microtransactions.
Make your money on the $60. Don't make your money on like the $2 every 30 seconds after that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is one of my favorite stories the whole week, and OJ better put in all of the things that I clipped for him. WWE 2K came out, and it is one of the worst games I have ever seen.
You know what's so funny? We have been trying.
I know.
You see, we'll put some clips right here. Yeah. We have been trying for years to review this game. I have bought the previous last 2 years' versions, but I haven't played them enough to even talk about them or get them reviewed.
We got wrestling mask and everything.
Yeah, we got wrestling mask. We bought previous costumes, but we've never been able to fulfill it, and it sucks because it would have been a perfect time to do it this year. I don't know if we'll have time. Probably not. Maybe if December is barren, we'll try to jump back in it, but I don't know. Because these things are hilarious. What's happening?
It is so funny. I mean,
I actually want to play the game
to experience
those bugs. So it's like now they should make WWE 2K20 buggy glitchy edition.
Yeah.
Like offer it as a feature because these things are hilarious.
Well, that's actually what was released because there was a 12 gigabyte day one patch that doesn't look like it did anything. And there's people like the referees are still humping the wrestlers and there's some real weird ones.
No, there's like a horny refs.
Yeah, it's like what is happening here? I've never seen
that. What patch is that?
Yeah, like the Kama Sutra WWE edition.
Yeah, guys spinning in the ropes and flipping out.
The one guy who's making the rope tornado is probably my favorite one. There's like players disappearing. It is so silly and it's so bad.
Players like floating in the air as if they're on a mat, but they're outside of the mat. It's just, oh my god, this is great.
Well,
I want to play it like that. Don't fucking up. I don't want to pay $60 for it because then you done piss me off. And make it a free edition. WWE 2K buggy glitchy.
You throw them into the ropes and they just spin in the ropes forever and ever like a cartoon. Well, the reason this all happened is because 2K decided to stop the relationship with the firm that had been working on all of the previous WWE editions. Now they're doing it all in-house with their own people.
There's an actual reason for this.
Yes. So
they fucked it up.
It's really bad.
They fucked it up.
Yeah. And so it obviously shows that making video games is a little bit more difficult than they assumed that it was going to be.
What is this, all to save costs? Or they were mad at the studio that they weren't doing all the, getting rid of all the glitches. They're like, you idiots! Every year a game comes out and it's got glitches. You know what? We're doing it ourselves.
Like
we can make our own glitches.
I saw you do it. I can do it. It's fine. Get out of here. I don't know what happened.
Well, the original company went on to make their own wrestling games, and so 2K is just like, look, we've got people that were like looking over your shoulder while you were making it, so we'll just have them do it. It'll be fine. And this is what you get. And hopefully we still have clips showing because these are so.
Yeah. Yes. No, this game is not worth $60, guys. I've even had people tell me that last year's version was better than this year's version.
Oh, yeah.
And that version was still substandard. So, I mean, it's just like Madden. It's a damn shame
It
that
is
now
worse.
this is leaking over to the wrestling. You know, in the sports games are like this yearly. Wrestling is now like this yearly. They'll take whole modes out. They'll put whole modes back. They'll have the superstars mode and the storyline, and then they'll do it again, and it's worse instead of more feature rich. These different types of things, and it's like, I guess these development cycles, these yearly development cycles, and cost-cutting saving measures to ensure higher profitability, all that stuff is destroying franchises.
Well, what I don't understand,
and people need to stop buying these yearly sports games. It's the only way they're going to realize, okay, maybe we need to do what Call of Duty does, where we have 2 different studios.
Yeah, they do every other year.
And we alternate so that you technically get 2-year development cycles, and you could quickly change a wrestler's appearance because, in 2 years they're going to change, or they're going to change characters or whatnot. But you can do that, and you can implement the features that you need. But no, why? Because that cuts into their profits. But what these companies don't realize is that eventually the gamers are going to fight back, and their profits are going to take a dump like Ubisoft. Right?
It's happening right now.
No, it's happening.
So PlayStation doesn't normally offer refunds for games that you buy on the PlayStation Store, and they are offering refunds for this game. There's such a backlash and so many complaints that PlayStation has even
some guy at PlayStation was playing it too. He's like, "Fuck this! I need to find it." Yes, you want a refund? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is show them some of these clips, and they're like, "This isn't a $60 game." And you mentioned the graphics; they aren't even reusing the ones from last year because 2K19 WWE version. Here's a picture of what The Rock looked like in 2K19, and this is the one that looks like in 2K20, and it looks like the 2K20 one looks like they just took snapshots from the Scorpion King and they're putting them up.
No.
It's terrible, and it's like, how do you mess up something like putting The Rock in this game? You have good renders of him already. If you reuse it would look better, but they screwed it up.
Yeah, it's cost-cutting measures in 2K, and it's sad to see coming from 2K because 2K was the hero long ago. I mean, now we're talking 20 years. 2K, NFL 2K5 with football, but they've become the villains because remember NBA 2K20. So literally, guys, what is behind all this? Because money, and maybe the publisher, maybe Take-Two Interactive controls 2K, and 2K has, guess what, NBA 2K. They've got fucking wrestling 2K, and they've got, the Grand Theft Auto casino machines and all this stuff that goes around. And this mentality is spreading amongst the company, and gamers are picking up on it, that you're basically, either cutting costs, cutting corners, homogenizing, and being even lazier in copying and pasting, and in some cases, crazily, not even copying and pasting, regressing, going backwards, and it doesn't make any sense. And I hope your sales take a dump.
Yeah, because it's the only way to make sure.
Probably why we didn't get a review copy for The Outer Worlds, even though Obsidian loves us, by the way. Which, did you see, Joe? The picture. There's a picture of Corporate Commander. Corporate Commander is dead and in The Outer Worlds, lying dead.
Really?
Yeah, I get somebody at Obsidian watches the Angry Joe show.
Wants you dead.
And wants Corporate Commander dead. And I agree with them that The Outer Worlds is like killing Corporate Commander, and this is what you get if you kill Corporate Commander versus something like Fallout 76. It was like perfect marketing and timing, you know what I mean? But I think why we weren't included on the first round of review codes, we got a review code
eventually,
12 hours before it launched, right? But
we feel special now.
But it's fine. That's Private Division. I think Private Division is the new sort of publisher for that. And guess who owns Private Division? Take-Two. Of course, this is all conspiracy theories and stuff. But we have not been.
You put my full hat on. And we'll
put our
talk
tinfoil hats on. But of course, we weren't included in that. In the first round, I could have had the review done. It's not going to be done anytime soon. You're looking at a week, maybe more, for the Outer Worlds review. Sorry about that, guys. But we're working on it, and it's just fascinating to see some companies are doing it right, and Outer Worlds comes out pretty much glitch free. There's a few things here and there, but it's nowhere near
Not
the
falling
level
through the
of
world,
a Bethesda game, Fallout 76, and these kinds of things. And that's doing it right. That's killing Corporate Commander. That's bringing you something better. And look at what the gaming community has done. They've rallied around it. They say, you need to be playing this instead of this.
Exactly.
And I hope sales of The Outer Worlds are reflecting that and sending a signal to other companies that if you don't cut corners, if you delay your games and make them better, which The Outer Worlds suffered a delay as well, that good things can
It's
happen.
so stupid. It's common sense. It should be common sense. You make a great game, people will buy it.
No,
what?
it's not common sense to suits anymore. Once they get that whiff of the microtransactions and the time savers and the ultimate teams,
Battle Pass. We shall see.
Well, Yuke's which is the old developer that makes different wrestling games. Now, it has to be just like thrilled that it came out this way. It's like, see, I told you, because they split up. 2K and then Yuke split up, and they've got to be like, look, I told you what we did was a little bit more complicated, and then your people suck. So I would love to see.
Look at all these hilarious glitches.
Yeah.
They're laughing.
I would have that all over the office.
Laugh it up.
Like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at all this.
All right. Well, the last thing I want to talk about this week is we got a little bit of news as far as the UK loot box and this ongoing dilemma before the UK Parliament decides if they're going to ban loot boxes, if they're going to follow Belgium and the Netherlands, or if they're just going to continue and do nothing and just talk about it. So
continue and do nothing.
Yeah, so the Children's Commissioner in the UK put out a report, and this is the office that represents the well-being of children in the UK, just saying, like, look, this is something that's damaging kids or potentially damaging kids. So they went out and filed a report, and the report calls for tighter rules to protect kids who game online after revealing how children can spend hundreds of pounds on loot boxes. They want the government to amend the Gambling Act. Now, this is important, because we talked a little about the Gaming Commission in the UK saying, look, we don't regulate loot boxes because the legal definition doesn't allow us to regulate loot boxes. Well, this is the first person within the bureaucracy of the UK saying, well, let's just change what the definition is so you can oversee it.
That's the main thing. Same thing in the US.
Right?
Yeah, who would have thought that?
Well, what it is a delay tactic by the companies and the corporations, protecting the companies, and the trade associations protecting those corporations and protecting the companies.
Yes.
To say, we can't change it because the rules.
Legally, it's not this way.
The definition. So somebody's finally saying, well, let's go and look at that definition and make sure it's right.
Yeah, and so the government calls on maximum daily spending limits to be introduced in all games that feature in-game purchases. Games that are distributed online should be subject to a legally enforceable age rating system. Bring forth financial harm. I mean, it's all just common sense stuff.
I want the me personally. I want the percentages displayed in bold, in large print that is like 30 font, because they always try hide it in
why even bother?
They hide it in 5 font, 5 tabs in, far away from the actual area that you're making the purchase. If they put the actual thing there, then people who are about to click that, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, and then the other one that,
and if they want us to click it, then click it.
And allowing showing players a mandatory screen to show players how much they've spent within a game is also something that would be important. Now, the only reason that I think that this was kind of worth covering, because a lot of different agencies have talked about this. This is the agency that gets to use the line that I think will help, because they get to say "for the children," and we know that just saying that over and over and over in a legal perspective is a way to get people behind what you're doing. And so this office has the ability to go into schools and into places where there are parents that vote. Just say, look, your children, based on our reports, are being damaged. And some of the reports of the study that they did where they talked to kids, it was almost heartbreaking, because you listen to these kids talk about how they feel the need to spend money to buy skins. Otherwise, people that they play games with them make fun of them, and they're getting online bullied. And so
all their friends has the skeleton skin. I don't have the skeleton skin. And look at how fucking lame is. Look at how fucking lame.
You're poor. You don't have a skin. That kind of thing. And so this is a really emotionally.
It's a status thing now.
Peter poor Peter can't get his skeleton skin in Fortnite. You Fortnite noob.
But it's so emotionally charged that I think that hopefully this will be something that sways people in Parliament to say, look, let's put up for a vote and let's change the legal definition.
Good. Excellent.
That's pretty badass.
Is that the
if it
last story?
happens.
That's the last story we
Good.
got.
We end on somewhat of a positive note that there are people out
Change.
there
Make that
that are
change.
trying to at least, get to the root of it, which is the legal definitions, and we'll keep you updated on that, and hopefully we get some movement over here in the U.S. as well. But we just want better clarification, more strict rules regarding this, and for it to be regulated, so that these companies can't be lying to us, like what happened with the Call of Duty fucking Halloween event scam microtransaction thing, where you're literally paying $250 or $150 for some skins. In reality, it's rigged. So we can't let that happen, and we're just trying to improve your games, and hopefully you support us. Yeah. Support organizations like those that are trying to make a difference. And yeah, all right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Be sure to subscribe and ding our dong.
And maybe check out some merch. We got some
Sweet Golden
shirts.
Girls merch.
That's
That's not ours.
Soon.
That's not ours. That's ours.
So we watch dogs.
Right.
I can't wait. Oh,
Say-
delayed.
If you
I
have
know.
any ideas for maybe some shirts that we can do, because I was joking, but now I'm kind of serious. I kind of want to see,
Blue.
what is that, blue? That would be cool if we could get a good design. All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget about the upcoming promotions for our disc plates on Thursday and Friday, and potentially longer. We'll let you know. Bye, guys.